Well, let's bring Jamie into the conversation. Jamie Lowell, I think he knows Rick Thompson well. I'm just kidding, of course. These two gentlemen are the co-hosts of Jazz Cabbage Cafe, Tuesdays from, what's the timing on that? From when to when?
4 to almost 6 usually.
Okay.
Eastern time, every Tuesday.
So I'll let you plug your own show instead of Rick, because Rick is working this show, so I give conflict and all that. Just kidding. So go ahead, talk about Jazz Cabbage Cafe. What do you guys do there?
I think we're working on about 3 years of broadcasting nearly every week and bringing a combination of cannabis-related discussions to people who are interested. Most recently, we focused on candidates who we're looking to support potentially in the elections to help further our objectives and our cause with cannabis reform. We've just recently, Rick brought up having the representation of Bay Mills and their plan to have a community-based commercial cannabis system on their reservation that's different than the Michigan program. That's really interesting to a lot of people, and that has important implications. And the advocacy, activism, and business discussions kind of all go hand in hand. You know, it's taking all of those things to get here, and we kind of try to cover that ground.
Now, you're also, I know it's been mentioned before, you're also working, I'm not sure if you own a part of it or work with it, but with a provisioning center, I believe in East Tawas, right?
That's right, yeah, the Botanical Company. And we're opening up locations in Lansing and Kalkaska too in the next couple of months. So look out for that. But we've been in East Tawas since last October, so coming up on a year there.
Wow.
That's worked out very well. It's a unique little area, kind of seasonal, but and impacted by the COVID scenario this year. But all things considered, everything's gone very well.
Well, let's talk about that. I know for a while there, you could only do curbside delivery or home delivery. You couldn't have people in your lobby. I've kind of lost track of that. Are you allowed to have people in the lobby now?
Up there, with distancing and masks and protocols, people can be inside, only a certain amount of people in the store and in certain areas at a time. But yes, and in fact, when that started being allowed again, most people preferred that. Some people still prefer curbside service and that way of doing the transaction, but most wanted to come back inside, even if they have to kind of wait in line, keep a distance, and wear a mask.
Sure. Did you ever do home delivery?
It is available and it happens, but it has not been a primary focus or segment of our operation yet. It doesn't seem to be demanded. We're working on promoting it right now, actually.
Yeah. Okay. So in general, then, one of the businesses that seems to be thriving because people have a lot of time on their hands is the cannabis sales. You guys, of course, you haven't got a year-to-year comparison to talk about, but how have sales been overall? I mean, from what you were projecting originally.
Sure. Yeah, and you're right. We have, not only do you have like the first year, but you have a seasonal place, and you have two different programs that have intersected with each other with different costs for facilitating each of those and getting the products to market. So it has been weird, but yes, sales have been very good and above original estimates.
Okay. And so let's talk about, you said you're expanding into 2 new locations. So give those locations one more time.
That's Kalkaska, and that's right downtown. And what will be unique there is right next door will be one of the few social lounges that are forthcoming to open in the state, right next door. So the idea is that it'll be an attraction for people who want to come get some cannabis from a provisioning center, and then or retail store, and then take it into the social lounge and have some fun there. But of course, there's a lot of factors involved, particularly with protocols and the mandates with the emergency conditions and stuff these days. So that all has to play out, and those are all real factors in today's world. But that's the project there. And then in Lansing, that's the flagship store. Ultimately, that's by the airport in Lansing, on the north side, if people are familiar with the area off of Grand River. And it will be the retail store, the largest retail store that we have of the 3 out in front, and behind it, a fully integrated operation with cultivation and processing.
Wow, you're going vertical then, huh?
The umbrella company is, my focus is the Botanical Company, the retail side of it. I was just attending the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association conference as a representative of Botanical Company. And one thing I wanted to mention today was a presentation that that was given there that was very impactful, and that was on corporate responsibility. Later on, Representative Robbie, who was an invited guest and speaker, gave an impassioned plea for industry participants to help with some projects like getting Michael Thompson out of jail and to helping to protect individual rights. You know, we were aware of many people involved in this industry who view those with the ability to grow for themselves or use without having to purchase from the store as being competition to their big investments. But those rights exist, and to help protect those along with the whole balance of the cannabis activity that's allowed, Senator Robbie called on the industry to step in when they can help. And there's going to be, I'm not sure if people are familiar with the expungement bills, I think by and large, and they do improve conditions. And there is a specific part of that that is based on, that is for cannabis. Now, it comes up a little bit short because it purports to allow expungement opportunities for activity that became legal under the MRTMA. And in fact, the language is, you know, as of December 6, 2018, you know, things that were legal now should be available for previous, you know, convictions for that same type of activity. And those things are, an adult can grow, an adult can possess, an adult can transfer to other people, and an adult can use. However, the expungement bill only allows expungement opportunities for possession and use. So there is discussion of a coalition letter to help the senators to be aware of this issue and to possibly make an amendment. These package of bills have been voted out of the House through the committee and the Senate. They await vote on the Senate floor probably by the end of this month, early next month. And we're going to request that those things be added in order to satisfy the spirit of the intention, which is to allow all activity that's allowed now under the MRTMA to be eligible for expungement. And the MICIA has agreed to sign on to that as an industry association. And my company, the Botanical Company, is going to independently sign on to that too, as a gesture of corporate responsibility to help protect rights and to help right the wrongs of the past. And that's the type of thing we're working on as well.
Expungement would just be for state violations, not for federal, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's the only control this has.
Yeah, I have a few of my friends who have federal records too. So, but I guess that'll have to wait till if we get legalization. Now, there's some talk out of the Biden camp that might be on their agenda. I think Kamala Harris has proposed something, but we'll see. It's politics, right? How much of that is promises and how much of that is reality? We'll see.
Well, Mike, we just talked on the news about the MORE Act, which would have federal expungement contained within it. So there's a second way we could accomplish that even before the election. If the House and Senate both pass the MORE Act, President Trump may sign it.
Oh, good point. Well,
this type of activity that I describe is the very common lower end, most volume of things that need to be corrected were done under the state correctional system. There are, of course, a lot of unfortunate federal cases out there as well, but there's a lot of activity that we need to clean up within the state.